The starter comes from Sanibel, Florida. Chef Danny Mellman offers a trio of shellfish: blue prawn, spiny lobster, and shrimp with a toasted coconut sauce. Then from the Sheraton Seattle Hotel and Towers, Monique Barbeau presents a variety of shellfish with a tomato-based sauce. The dessert is from Tallahassee, Florida, and the exclusive Governor's Club. Pastry chef Stephanie Quigley separates meringue discs with a white chocolate buttercream. Danny Mellman, chef-owner of the popular Greenhouse Grill on Sanibel, is a Pennsylvania native. However, he has become a real booster of Southeast Florida's tropical-tinged cuisine. A good example is his entree, a trio of shellfish coupled with a toasted coconut dressing, fired up with jalapeno pepper. The sauce for the dish includes a roasted jalapeno pepper, here done right on the surface of a flat-top burner.
Egg yolks, rice wine vinegar, fish sauce, oyster sauce, coconut milk, unsweetened. If you're doing this, you can use sweetened coconut milk or Coco Lopez or something, but it's got such an overpowering sweetness. For anything with coconut, for sweetener, we use palm sugar, which is a natural coconut sugar. And then most of the garnish, except for the cilantro, I add in at the end, which is the diced bell peppers. And we'll just put this toasted jalapeno. I toast the jalapeno just to brings out the flavor and the heat. Rub the skin off it. Take the seeds out of it. This dish needs a salty, sweet, hot. That's why we use a combination of things that we do. The oils in the fish sauce and the oyster sauce, the jalapeno, the palm sugar, the coconut. They have a nice combination and effect in the mouth. We call it a dressing. Depending on what dish we're doing, we might call it a vinaigrette or a creamy vinaigrette. All pretty much the same idea. I think I have all my ingredients in there. I just let that start mixing. I add in my sesame oil, slowly drizzling that in. And then vegetable oil to the desired consistency. It gets pretty thick. In aerobicu, because it spins so fast, the more oil you add, the thicker it gets. You could make it into a mayonnaise and then thin it back down if you'd like. So, I'm not using all this. I think in my recipe I call for a tablespoon of each. 2 tablespoons, but typically. The final ingredient after the peppers have gone in is the toasted coconut. And you don't want to toast it too brown, but you want a fair amount in there. Just like the peppers, when it's in the bowl, you're not really going to see it, but it'll stay relatively crisp, believe it or not. And when you lay it out onto the plate, that'll also come through as the peppers have.
The marinade for the shellfish includes jalapeno and the fiery habanero pepper.
Roasted jalapenos or going into Scotch bonnets and habaneros and things. All we do with this really is split it. I don't do much else with that, and that adds the necessary heat. Oyster sauce, once again, and coconut milk in there. Some fresh chopped herbs. We use cilantro and tarragon. And we mix this stuff up. Now this we do, we tend to do the marinade ahead of time. The lobster.
The shrimp and prawn are peeled and the spiny lobster is cut in half lengthwise.
And what you want to do is you want to shake that around a little. Okay. You can start it like that. It takes about 2 hours. We marinate these about 2 hours. We'll flip them back and forth. The shrimp, we marinate for about an hour. So as I said, this would be one portion using half of this lobster.
The blue prawn is roasted dry, no fat, in a 500-degree oven for about 6 minutes. The lobster onto the flat top.
And just let them cook. They cook extremely quickly, and we cook them from the shell side. And once it starts to bubble and it becomes a little bit translucent around the edges, we flip them over. We cook these about medium rare. They're fairly soft in the center. That's how we like them. I think they retain their sweetness that way.
The shrimp are quickly cooked in a little hot olive oil.
Just till they start to change color a little bit.
The lobster is turned once before presentation. The shrimp and half the lobster are served on rice.
And this dish seems to me like it's taking an extremely long time, but we knock this out obviously in the cooking time of about whatever it takes to do the lobster, about six or 7 minutes.
Mixed greens garnish.
Then the last thing is the lobster.
Fuller's restaurant at the Sheraton in Seattle is the domain of the skillful chef Monique Barbeau. Born in Canada, she worked in New York at Le Bernardin, the Quilted Giraffe, and Chanterelle. She won a 1997 Robert Mondavi Culinary Award of Excellence. Here's a variety of shellfish with a tomato-based sauce. The base of the sauce is a tomato compote using peeled tomatoes.
And once, to get the seeds out, it's best if you cut the tomatoes in the middle. And then with a glass bowl, or not a glass bowl, a bowl, you want to gently de-seed the tomato and just squeeze gently on the tomato and all the seeds will fall out. So you want a de-seeded tomato, no seeds. The seeds will cause a bitterness in the tomato paste. And then you want to rough chop the tomatoes. Just very rough, don't need to spend too much time chopping. You want to start cooking your tomatoes to begin the tomato paste, and you want to make sure the pan's pretty hot. You want to let all the water from the tomatoes evaporate so the tomato paste isn't really loose and watery. And you want to add a little shallot and garlic to that as it's cooking down. some fresh herb to that. But before you add the fresh herb, you want to deglaze with some red wine vinegar. And then when most of the liquid's evaporated, you want to deglaze with the red wine vinegar. And then once that's all reduced down, that would be your paste for the fricassee.
Finally, fresh herbs.
And then you can finish off with your fresh chopped herbs.
A butter mixture will finish the tomato sauce.
So you just add, you make almost like a compound butter with garlic and shallots and fresh parsley, and you want to season it with lemon juice and salt and pepper. And you want to keep, once it's all mixed together, you want to keep it in the refrigerator so it will emulsify nicely into the fresh tomato sauce. And a couple squirts of lemon, salt and pepper. And you can add a little more garlic if you prefer it to be a little garlicky, but equal parts garlic to shallot is about what you should do. And then you have the compound butter.
Shallots are softened in olive oil, using 2 pans for steaming the shellfish.
You want to add a little white wine and some fish stock. And then you want to steam open your shellfish, saving the oysters to last because they don't take as long to cook. Making sure that the shellfish is being cleaned and the mussels are being debearded.
The clams and mussels are cooked in separate pans, covered. After they have opened, the liquid in the pan becomes part of the sauce. The oysters will go in at the end.
You want to transfer them to a pot to keep them warm while you finish your sauce.
The clams are removed from the liquid, then the oysters are added.
The oysters can be added in to one of the saute pans and just lightly poached.
They are poached very quickly.
You can also add singing scallops or any sort of mollusk to this dish. So now you have some white wine, the fish stock, some shallots to begin your sauce with.
The cooking liquid begins the sauce.
You want to add a little bit of heavy cream. Then you want to add your homemade tomato paste. And once that comes to a boil, you want to finish it with your garlic butter, a little lemon juice, and salt and pepper. The oysters can sit just on top. Then you want to swirl in a little bit of your garlic butter. And finish cooking that.
Basil chiffonade will garnish.
And you want to finish the sauce with a little lemon juice, salt and pepper, snape the sauce over the shellfish. And then garnish it with a little basil. And that's the dish.
Stephanie Quigley was born in Minnesota and attended the University of Florida. After working in several restaurants, she joined the staff at the Governor's Club in 1982. In 1989, she became a certified pastry chef. Her dessert is an interesting meringue affair called Gateau l'Orange. The foundation of this dessert is meringue, which is started by adding sugar to beaten egg whites.
This continues beating till it's firm peak. And I slow the mixer and add the almond extract. And the vanilla extract.
After mixing, a combination of ground almonds and cornstarch is added.
I fold it gently so as not to break the meringue. Then I pipe the meringue mixture inside this circle, holding it straight up and down.
Three of these discs will be formed.
With my spatula, I flatten it. The meringues are now ready to be placed in a 200-degree oven for about 2 hours.
Buttercream is started with sugar, cornstarch, and heavy cream.
And cook it over a medium heat till it comes to a boil and is thickened.
The hot mixture is then poured over chopped white chocolate in a method similar to making ganache.
And I stir until the white chocolate is melted. And I place it in an ice bath to chill. You can chill this overnight. And I stir in the grated orange zest, 2 tablespoons.
The mixture is chilled overnight, then combined with butter in an electric mixer.
When the mixture is whipped, I slow the mixture down to half speed, and I gradually add the butter. Make sure all your butter is in the bowl. And I add a couple ounces of Grand Marnier to taste a little bit.
Beat until the mixture is smooth and has at least doubled in volume. Vanilla and orange zest are also added to the buttercream.
All right. The next step is to trim the meringues. You want them to fit within the diameter of your cake circle. I even off the top so they'll stack quite well on top of each other. And I go around the sides just to even the meringue. And I put about 3/4 of a cup of the buttercream mixture on the meringue.
This procedure is repeated 2 more times.
I put the final meringue upside down so you'll be sure to have a flat surface.
The entire cake is frosted with the buttercream, and it will be refrigerated overnight.
And you smooth it as well as you can. This is a very soft buttercream.
The cake is served with creme anglaise flavored with Grand Marnier.
All right, to serve the Gateau Orange, you take a Grand Marnier flavored anglaise sauce and put it on your plate. Probably about 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces. Take a slice of the cake. Center it on the sauce. I use a vanilla flavored chantilly sauce cream. And I'll take a few raspberries. You can use any kind of fresh fruit that you like that's in season. Some raspberries and maybe some blueberries. A sprig of fresh mint. A wedge of an orange. And maybe an orange curl. And there you have the Gateau Orange.